Hello everyone, and thank you for joining me. We're here at the World Hydrogen Expo, where I'm joined by
Mikaa.
Thank you for joining me.
Well, nice to meet you, Thomas. It's a pleasure.
Could you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what you do?
Absolutely. I'm a researcher on hydrogen geopolitics, hydrogen markets, and hydrogen strategies globally. And I'm with the Canada Research Chair in Clean Hydrogen based in Quebec.
Okay, and I understand you were one of the speakers here today.
That is correct. I was presenting earlier today on 2025 as a possible turning point for the hydrogen economy and hydrogen policy at the global scale.
Well, that's interesting because I've been talking to a lot of people now, and they mentioned that in the past few years there was maybe a bit of disappointment about the development of the industry, but now it seems like people are refocusing and looking at things more practically. So is that the turning point that you might be talking about?
Kind of, but that's not how I see it. Basically, people have indeed in 2021, 2022, 23 even, they were at their emotional peak of inflated expectations with hydrogen.
Right.
And actually, this is something that is usual to any kind of innovative industry that burgeons one way or another in the economic space. So basically, here it's hydrogen, it used to be AI, it used to be so many other things. What we're seeing now in 2025 is this. Indeed, people who have believed, maybe more than they should have, in these inflated expectations are disappointed. But the vast majority of people in the hydrogen industry are not immune to what's happening, in the sense that they know that there was going to be a time where a natural attrition of this hydrogen industry would come. And this time has come in 2024 and 2025, based on factors that are endogenous to the hydrogen economy, but also based on many factors that are totally exogenous to the hydrogen economy. You can think about the rise of the cost of capital, the rise of inflation.
Inflation was mentioned, yes.
Geopolitics, of course, having an impact, especially after the war in Ukraine starting in 22, which has basically completely changed the environment in which low carbon hydrogen was developing. So, I mean, there's plenty of factors like that. But at the same time, consolidation is a good thing, because consolidation is a natural step towards a market credibility for any innovation in the world. Hydrogen is just right there.
Right. Well, from a research perspective then, since you are a researcher, why is it then that people still have so much positive excitement for hydrogen as a potential fuel source and what we can do with it in the future?
Well, hydrogen, and that is a scientific consensus at global level, hydrogen as in low carbon hydrogen and as in natural or electrolytic, the lowest carbon hydrogens possible, is absolutely necessary to reach carbon neutrality by 2050 or whenever we're supposed to reach it. Right. So if we want to stay under the 2 degrees in the Paris Agreement framework, then basically we need hydrogen at some point. The big question is where that hydrogen will come from and in what capacity countries will start to harness this hydrogen economy. Where will they position themselves in this hydrogen economy? We've heard many things over the past, say, 5-10 years even. But what is certain today is that now that technologies are mature, that we can say there's a real business reality to hydrogen, with a sweet spot between demand, firm offtake on the one hand, and offer, meaning firm production capacity being installed in construction or having passed FID, this sweet spot being around 4 million tons per annum by 2030.
Okay.
Now that we're reaching this sweet spot, people, meaning industries, researchers of course, but more importantly maybe countries and societies, can start organizing themselves around this new hydrogen era. So of course 4 million tons per annum, it means only by 2040, it means only roughly 4% of the global hydrogen demand being supplied by low carbon hydrogen supplies. But once again, in every single burgeoning industry, you've got thresholds of market adoption.
The same patterns, the same cycles.
Exactly. Right. So basically once an industry, like an innovation in an industry, reaches 2% of adoption, it means that the early adopters have believed in this economy, in this industry, in this new technology, basically. And it's here to stay. Now, there are countries, starting with Korea, in which for segments, certain segments of the hydrogen economy, we are now seeing hydrogen reaching not just the first early adopters threshold, but the first market mainstream adoption thresholds. Here in Korea, the fact that by the end of this year, Koreans will have more than 50,000 fuel cell electric vehicles on the streets running. This is a major psychological threshold and market adoption threshold that is being reached. We're seeing that still in Korea as well with FC, so fuel cell electric buses, with in the first half of 2025 alone, more than 19% market share for fuel cell electric buses within the segment of decarbonized buses here in Korea. So meaning that in this segment, in Korea, hydrogen has gone past the early adopters threshold, but also has gone past the first threshold for mainstream market adoption.
Right.
So of course, this is due to a lot of subsidies being poured into this industry. But beyond the subsidies, what we need to look at in Korea is the policy coordination of the whole nation around 5-6 industrial champions which are delivering. And that is why in Korea, we have a model that is very interesting, a mid-sized market in which hydrogen is burgeoning, starting to work, starting to deliver, and it's a proof, not a promise, a proof that hydrogen is definitely here to stay.
Great. What do you think we can expect to see then in the future? I know everyone's looking for trends or things to pick up on. Do you have any thing to add to that?
I had a presentation full of that, but just in one sentence. If hydrogen is here to stay because we've got hard proof, evidence-based market proof that hydrogen is currently starting to deliver, it means that if you're not investing in hydrogen now in 2026, you're gonna lose the 2027, or you're gonna miss the 2027 to 2030 big improvement, big development of this hydrogen economy. The policy is now becoming more and more mature after years of negotiations, hesitations, back and forth, stop and go, and so on. So the policy is becoming mature, the industry is becoming more and more mature. We've got manufacturing capacity, which is reaching capacity that is significant globally, starting with Korea, China, but also now India, Europe, of course. So it's a global movement, and it's not a movement that is limited to rich OECD countries. It's also happening in the so-called global south. It's also happening in the BRICS. It's a global movement, and it's a global movement because beyond the costs, beyond the climate aspects, hydrogen has the ability for many societies around the world to actually provide resilience. Resilience vis-à-vis the climate, of course, but resilience from a geopolitical point of view, resilience vis-à-vis hardships created by leaders here and there in the world who are just trying to make a name for themselves.
You mean in terms of fuel independence and things like that?
Exactly, and bring everyone to the wall. No, hydrogen is a tool to basically avoid being tracked, pulled into this kind of nonsense going forward. So there's plenty of reasons why hydrogen is interesting, but more importantly, the societal aspect, which is often overlooked at conferences like this, is absolutely critical to understand what's going on.
Great. Well, I think that's a great note to end on. You've given us a lot of food for thought.
Well, thank you, Thomas.
Thank you for sharing your insights.
It's a pleasure. See you soon. 감사합니다.